Louisiana today is known around the world for its lively entertainment scene and distinctive recreational opportunities. Much has changed, however, in the 200 years since Louisiana became a state. A new exhibit, State of Transition, Louisiana circa 1812, now on display at LSU's Hill Memorial Library, explores some of these differences. Then, as now, Louisiana stood apart from other states. Many visitors, for example, were amazed at how popular dancing was in Louisiana. One, Major Amos Stoddard, observed,
"Men and women in New Orleans are particularly attached to the exercise of dancing, and carry it on to an incredible excess. Neither the severity of the cold nor the oppression of the heat ever restrains them from this amusement, which usually commences early in the evening and is seldom suspended till late the next morning. They even attend the balls not infrequently for 2 or 3 days in succession, and without the least apparent fatigue."
An original letter from Thomas Bowling Robertson, Louisiana's first U.S. representative, to his sister Mary, written in 1812, records a humorous incident that occurred at one of these dances.
"One evening I went to a ball where I fell in love with a girl of such a form and such grace, and, as I fondly thought, such heavenly feature. But upon approaching very near, I found that she was cross-eyed and squinted. I mourned my vanished divinity, and consoled myself with a dish of gumbo, made, I firmly believe, of owls and cats, for I dreamed all night of grave bachelors and prim old maids."
The musical styles Louisiana is best known for today, jazz, blues, Cajun, and Zydeco, were still many decades into the future when Louisiana became a state in 1812. And yet, by all accounts, Louisiana was a very musical place at that time. In New Orleans, slaves were allowed to sing, dance, and play musical instruments on Sundays in Congo Square. The architect Benjamin Latrobe, writing in 1819, described the scene.
"The music consisted of 2 drums and a stringed instrument. The drums made an incredible noise. The most curious instrument, however, was a stringed instrument which no doubt was imported from Africa. The women squalled out a burthen to the playing at intervals, consisting of 2 notes, as the Negroes working in our cities respond to the song of their leader."
Although Latrobe said he had, quote, "never seen anything more brutally savage," Congo Square was one of the most popular attractions for visitors to New Orleans. Other music that would have been heard in the early days of statehood were folk tunes and dances from France, Spain, and the British Isles. Travelers reported hearing music performed just about everywhere, from homes, theaters, and churches to dance halls, taverns, and in the street. 2 handwritten music books from circa 1812 are on display in the library's exhibit. Many of the songs in them had been popular in colonial America, such as The White Cockade, Fisher's Hornpipe, and Rural Felicity. Several tunes are of Celtic origin. Others commemorate recent events and people, such as the Constitution of America, General George Washington's March, and Bonaparte's March. Also on display is a copy of Christian Schultz's Travels on an Inland Voyage, printed in 1810. Schultz, a New Yorker, was one of the first tourists to visit Louisiana. His book contains one of the few descriptions of the use of musical instruments by Native Americans in the lower Mississippi Valley. The first permanent theater in Louisiana was established in 1791 by a troupe of French actors from Santo Domingo. English-language drama began in 1806 with the performance of a play, The Doctor's Courtship, and a pantomime called Don Juan. The acts were performed along with magic tricks and ventriloquism. One book in the exhibit, Dramatic Life as I Found It, by Noah Ludlow, is a look back on theatrical life in Louisiana in its early days. Ludlow recalled that one theater had 2 tiers of boxes and would seat about 700 persons. On opening night, he says, the house was crowded from bottom to top, half the audience being French, and many of them not understanding 1 word in 100 that was spoken. If one thing about New Orleans has remained the same, it's the popularity of seedy entertainment. Henry Fearon, an English visitor to the city in 1817, was shocked to find that theaters, the circus, and public ballrooms were open on Sundays, and he reported that gambling houses thronged the city. Fearon also witnessed a vicious public animal fight that involved dogs, a tiger, a black bear, and an Opelousas bull. A military band performed during the fight. One of the most colorful letters in the library's exhibit describes a very different type of entertainment, a Shivaree. This French folk custom was a mock serenade intended to ridicule people who had remarried too soon after their spouse's death, and or married a much younger partner. In this case, a Madame Dawn André, described by the letter's author James Hewitt as immensely rich, married a young man. She was told that unless she agreed to host a ball and dinner for 500 people and give $1,000 to the poor, there would be a Shivaree at her house. She refused, and Hewitt describes the scene that followed.
It would be folly in me to attempt a description of this ridiculous parade. Suppose to yourself 60 or 100 rich young fellows agreeing to behave as ridiculous as possible by dressing in harlequin dresses, Turkish and pantomime false faces, mules dressed with cows' horns, carts with coffins, priests, friars, drums, horns, kettles, and everything that could add to the noise, passing all through the city in procession, hallooing at her house when they suppose Madame was there. When you've drawn up such an idea, still, you'll be far short of the damned foolish thing.
According to Hewitt, the Shivaree lasted 2 days, and Madame André eventually gave in to the revelers' demands. These are just a few of the books, letters, and artifacts on display. If you are interested in learning more about this fascinating period in our state's history, don't miss State of Transition, Louisiana, circa 1812, on exhibit in LSU's Hill Memorial Library from March 12 to June 2nd, 2012. For more information, please visit our website or call us at 225-578-6544.